Attention Program Director, it's over to you.
Check sound. Vanakkam, Prem Namaste, Namaskaram, Om Sai Ram, and warm greetings, dear family, relatives, friends, neighbors, and well-wishers. On behalf of the Moodley families, I extend to you all a very warm and cordial welcome to this, the 11th month yearly memorial service for an amazing woman, an icon and matriarch in the Moodley family, a wonderful soul, the late Mrs. Rajmani Moodley, who was called to rest on the 10th of October 2024 at the age of 80. Much can be said about our dear mother, but I will leave this in the capable hands of the various speakers who will satisfy this requirement. Today is indeed a time also to celebrate the life of this great soul. At the very outset, I want to remind you of a few house rules. We have a compact program for this afternoon, and we humbly ask for your cooperation. There should be minimal movement and talking. Please switch off cell phones into silent mode. But we respectfully invite you to join in the service if you are aware of and are familiar with the songs that will be sung this afternoon. This afternoon we are blessed to have Brother Rajmani Moodley and his talented band of musicians who will render service. But for now, to give you the formalities of the service, I hand you over to Brother Rajmani.
Yellorikam, Anbula Vanakkam, my humble greetings to each and every one of you. Thank you very much, Program Director. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. I am Rajmani Moodley, your lead vocalist for this evening, going to be rendering a few soul-stirring bhajans. On the tabla, I have the very talented brother Subendran. On the harmonium and chorus, I have the very talented brother Delvin, as well as Dad joining us on the guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed with the sacred hymns and the bhajans, I have been requested by the family to please shed some insight as to the significance of the prayer and also the reason as to why we offer these prayers. So ladies and gentlemen, as we do know, according to Hinduism, according to our Tamil culture, and according to our rituals that we proceed with, we're made to understand that at the time of death, during the passing on of somebody, there is a series of prayer that we undergo. And many people do not understand the significance or the deep meaning of this prayer. Believe it or not, some people even moan about having to do so many prayers, yes? And some people wonder, why do we carry out so many rituals? So, just for the benefit of those who do not know, I'm going to be sharing some insight on that. We're made to understand, according to Hinduism, that we have been born here on earth to live as what we call life, uiran. So, at the time of birth, there were the merge of two entities, that being the soul, which has come to enter the physical body. The day that the soul has entered the body, that is when you met what is called uiran, which means life. After you've been born, you live for a period of time based on God's will and your destiny, and thereafter it is your time to leave the material world. That is when you meet what is called as maranam, which means death. Now, ladies and gentlemen, speaking about life on earth firstly, we're made to understand, according to the Hindu Shastras and the Hindu literature, that your life here on earth, no matter how long you live, your life is basically divided into 16 different phases or 16 different chapters. This is called in Hinduism Shodashi Samskara. The Shodashi Samskara literally translate to the 16 sacraments of life. What does this mean? So from the time that you were born, birth itself was your first phase. Then you notice, according to the Hindu rites and the Hindu rituals, from the time of birth, we do something called the naming ceremony, Per Vikkanam. When you were born, you started the first chapter or the first phase of your life. Then you entered the second phase of your life, which is the naming ceremony, Per Vikkanam. In Hinduism, especially in Tamil culture, this is a great deal. To have a name to your life is an important thing. It is something that you live by, it is something that you stand by, Imagine if you didn't have a name. How would people refer to you? How would a bank even give you a loan? What legacy will you live without a name? So in Hinduism, we know that a name, Peru Vikkanam, is a very, very important ritual. Then you start, which is the third ritual, or in Hinduism, and that's the offering of food. So when you're born, you don't eat solid food immediately. There is a process of which you follow, and thereafter in the third phase of your life, between the age of at least 3 or 4, that's when you start to eat your first solid meal. Then, between the ages of 4 and 5, you start to use your actual clothes. Prior to this, you were using kimbis or diapers, etc. You were just a baby. Between the ages of 3, 4, and 5, you start using your first set of clothes. This is in your 5th chapter or your 5th stage of your life. Then you go on to adolescence and then teenage years. You become a teenager. Then the coming of age, entering the adulthood, passing these different phases until we reach the 15th stage, which is called Vivaha Samskara. Vivaha Samskara is marriage. So when you reach the 15th stage of your life, you find a partner and you get married. After marriage, you live for a period of time together with your partner, and then until you reach the 16th phase of your life, which is Maranam, death. So your life basically is divided into these 16 sacraments. Now, when we die, we're made to understand, according to Hinduism, that the moment the soul leaves the body, the soul does not leave this physical world immediately. There is a process of which the soul starts a detachment process from the physical home. You notice the moment someone dies, the first thing we do is we light a lamp and we place it on the floor of the house. Why do we do this? Simply because the soul is now lingering around the home of the family which it's passed on from. So if you lived in a certain home, your soul will go back because it knows that's home. It's lived there for however many years. When the soul enters the home, we keep the soul safely, because when you're out of your body in a soul experience, your soul can be easily snatched or influenced by negative energies or negative forces of the universe. So, to keep the soul safe, we light the lamp, which is called the Arul Jyoti, the light of life. And we place this on the ground simply because the ground is Mother Bhuma Devi, she who can keep the soul in safety and a safe sanctity. Prayers are carried on. You'll notice from after a funeral, there is no offering made, only the lamp on the floor and the turning of camphor. Then you'll notice there's an invite that's made to 3 different deities. First is Lord Shiva Peruman, because he is the Lord of destruction and the end, the Lord above time, Mahakal, he who has beyond time. And then the second is to Lord Yamadev. Lord Yamadev is the Lord of death. He comes to take you out of your physical body and keep your soul until that period of time has ended. The third deity who enters the home is Lord Shani Bhagwan. He is one of the planet. Lord Shani Bhagwan is the keeper of your deeds. For those of you who think your actions on earth are unwatched and unnoticed, think twice. Lord Shani Bhagwan is seated and watching your every action and taking a track record of your good deeds and your bad deeds. Because when you die, these deeds are balanced and brought to a totality, which means your good deeds are weighed against your bad deeds, and whatever karmic cycles are left there has to be paid for. So these 3 deities will enter the home. You'll notice the prayer starts. On the 3rd day after the funeral, you'll notice this is when they offer the first padil, the first leaf. They take out food. Why? Because when you were in your 3rd phase of your life, you're now reviewing your life right from the time you were born, right up until the time you died. So the whole 16 phases have been calculated, and your life across these 16 stages will be reviewed and looked at your karmas, your good deeds and your bad deeds. What good deeds did you do in your 3rd phase of your life? What bad deeds did you do in your 5th stage of your life? Each phase of your life, 16 phases, are reviewed for your karmas. You'll notice on the 3rd day, the food is offered. Why? Because when you were in your 3rd phase of your life, you started to eat your first solid food. Prior to this, you never ate food. You were just a baby. You notice on the 5th day prayer, they fold clothes of the deceased and they put that on the floor. Why do they do that? Because when you were in your 5th stage of your life, you started to use your first clothes. Prior to this, you were using kimbis and diapers. Then, the prayer continues, offering food up until the 15th night. If the person was married, you'll notice they do the removal of the tali. Because the tali is a marital symbol and the sacred symbol of that marriage belonging to the sacred, the unionship of the physical body. Some ladies often say, I'm not going to remove my tali after marriage. This isn't correct, simply because your attachment is only to the physical body, and the physical body has come to an end. When the soul exits the body, the soul has no relation to any one of us. The soul belongs to the universe. When the soul entered the body and entered a physical being, you are married to that physical form. But when that physical form comes to an end and leaves the body, you have no marriage to the soul. What Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, what is yours today was somebody else's yesterday and will be somebody else's tomorrow. So this shows us that the soul has no connection to each and every one of us, to any one of us for that matter of fact. Then you'll notice on the 16th day, the family go to the river and to perform what is the most important prayer in the dead ritual, that is called the Yellam Tanir. The Yellam Tanir does two things. One, it is a final send-off of the soul leaving the family and now journeying off to the universe. And two, it's a close of that chapter. Let me explain this to you because this is very important. The day that you were born into a family meant that you entered a lineage, meant that you started karmic cycle with a family. So what you go through as a family, that is a lineage accumulating karmas. When you die, now there's two ways of leaving a family lineage. One, usually a girl will leave her family lineage by marriage. You'll notice at a wedding they do a prayer called the Kanyadanam. The Kanyadanam is where they wash the bride's hand onto the groom's hand, onto the groom's father's hand, onto the groom's mother's hand. Why? Because the bride is now leaving her family lineage to join a new family lineage. So whatever karmic cycles from one family will now be alleviated and closed and carried over to a new family. Then the second way of leaving a family is through death, which is why we do the Yellam Tanir. Because that soul is no longer part of the family and will now go to merge with the universe, that creator who had sent the soul to this universe. So it is a close of the karmic cycle and a balance. I don't mean to scare you, but if the Yellam Tanir prayer is not done and not done correctly, there is negative influences that sit over the family. Even modern day, all religions are speaking about it. They call it generational curses. In Hinduism, we call it Pitradosh. Pitradosh sits over a family, which is why some women are barren, cannot fall pregnant. Some people cannot find jobs. Some people are going through difficulties in the family and cannot find reasons why. Simply because Pitradosh is influencing over. Forefathers and grandparents before us never did the Yellam Tanir or never closed the door between the universe, that world and this world, and that is how it affects our lives. There are rituals that can remedy the situations, so again I have no intention of scaring you. Ladies and gentlemen, this prayer is the 1 year memorial. After the soul had left the home, after the Yellam Tanir was done, it takes a period of at least 11 months for the soul to reach the supreme kingdom of God. Why? The soul has to pass 5 elements, Pancha Mahatattva, Pancha Bhutas. It has to go through the 5 elements of this universe. It has to go through the 7 heavens, the 7 hells, ascending out of this universe back to the kingdom of God. Can you imagine? It took you 9 months to be born. That was a process for you to enter this world. What makes you think you're going to reach God overnight? Just the way it took you a birth process 9 months to arrive here, it's going to take you a process to leave here as well. Today, this is where the soul reaches the supreme kingdom of God, and this is where God today, all of the balance that Yamadev and Shani Bhagwan gave and said, this is the good karmas, these are the bad karmas, you carry that with you. And trust me, when your karmas go to God, not even the woman who gave birth to you can justify your actions. If you sinned, you sinned. If you did good deeds, you did good deeds. That will come to carry your soul, and whether God will give you rebirth or moksha, which we refer to as eternal liberation. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's prayer is done for Lord's judgment, God's good judgment over the soul that has now reached His kingdom. Why have you come here? Simply because of congregational prayer. Simply because nobody else can pray for the soul but you. Why you? Because you knew this person. You had relation while this person was alive. So anybody else cannot pray for the soul other than you who had attachment. Even the soul cannot pray to itself, for itself, because it has no sensory abilities. Sensibility is when the physical body died. The soul has no eyes, no ears, no nose, no touch, no sense, none of the senses. So it depends on you and the family that do the prayer. I often say to people that it's also a misunderstanding where people argue and say, after the passing on of somebody, they say don't do any big prayer, any Aman prayer, Patasi prayer, etc., breaking of coconut, because there's a Shanti period for 1 year. And a lot of the modern people will come and say, oh, but prayer mustn't stop, we'll still do Ram Bhajan, we'll do Aman prayer, prayer is prayer. No, this is wrong. Simply because, you see, when somebody passes on, that period of the soul leaving this world and going to the next is a very, very delicate and fragile period of time, because the soul has no sense of its direction. How is it going to God? Simply by the prayers that you are doing from here. Picture it like a kite. The soul is leaving. You are controlling that kite with the string. Similarly, with all the rituals and prayers you're doing, you're sending that soul back to the Supreme God. If you are doing prayers like Mariamman prayer, Patasi prayer, those prayers generate, it's not bad, but they generate very high frequencies. The vibrations that come out of those prayers are very strong, and that can disrupt the process of the soul reaching Supreme God. It's okay to light your lamp, it's okay to pray, but keep the frequencies low. Refrain from breaking coconut and doing massive prayers that the vibrations and the frequencies are high, because that can disrupt the period of the soul reaching Supreme Godhead. Once that Shanti period has completed, you are more than welcome to continue with any prayers. I hope you understand the process of death rituals, and the reason as to why we do all of this. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to proceed with the opening prayer. If I may please call forward Brother Jason to offer the obeisance unto Lord Ganapati. Can we all please rise for the opening prayer?
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा अगजानन पद्माकं गजाननम् अहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानां वीरदन्तं उपास्महे। गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ஓம் திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்து ஓதகுவறியவன் நிலவுலாவியன் நீர்வாழ்வேனியன். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்து ஓதகுவறியவன் நீலவுலாவியன் நீர்வாழ்வேனியன். ஆலகல் சோதியன் அம்பலக்குலாவியன்
We cannot delay, ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as we do know according to Hinduism, Lord Ganesha, Lord Vinayaka, is said to be the remover of all obstacles. You'll notice in any prayer or any ritual or any offering that we make, we always pray to Lord Ganesha first. Commonly we say that Lord Ganesha is the remover of obstacles, that's why we pray to him first. But this is not the only reason. One of the main reasons, scientific explanation, is that one of Lord Ganesha's names is Ganapati. Ganapati comes from the root word Gunapati. What does Gunapati mean? He who is the controller of the gunas. You see, your life on earth has three different modes of existing. You have, in Hinduism we call it, the Rajasic Guna, the Tamasic Guna, and the Sattvic Guna. The Rajasic Guna is one for sense gratification, pleasure, and your own satisfaction. The Tamasic Guna is one of negativity, pride, jealousy, ego, resentment, anger, frustration. And the Sattvic Guna is one of divinity, purity, God conscious, watching the way you speak because God is listening, watching how you treat people because God is watching. This is God consciousness. Coming back to the story, Lord Ganesha is Gunapati, the controller of your three gunas. So what Lord Ganesha does, you see in the south of India there's a prayer called the Toppakaranam, where they hold the ears and they go up and down and then they knock the temples for the higher consciousness to awaken. Because this is the Toppakaranam for Lord Ganesha, to bring your senses to its highest form. You see, if I gave you some food to eat, and if I gave you this food on a plate which is dirty, it's not pure enough for you to eat from, right? Similarly, if you go to pray, and if you pray from a mind that has not been cleansed and purified, it's not pure enough for you to pray from. So it's important for us to cleanse our mind and bring our mind, body and soul to a complete devotion and a form of divinity so that we can pray with pure consciousness. And this is what Lord Ganesha does. When we call him the Gunapati, it means he controls your mind. Manasa Buddhi, which is why when we sing to Lord Ganesha, we say Manas Buddhi, Ahamkara. He awakens the consciousness of purity and goodness so that you can pray whatever prayer you're about to do. You'll do it with goodness and purity. That being said, we'll now render the first bhajan in praise of Lord Ganesha. Gajanvadana Gananata Gajavadana Dinanata Gajavadana Gananata Gajavadana Dinanata
शरणं दुस्तरमवसा करतरणम् सूलदारे परमेसा सूलदारे परमेसा सूलदारे परमेसा सूलदारे परमेसा शिवकविनायक जगदीशा सूलदारिणे परमेसा शिवकविनायकने जगदीशा. You know what that means? He is talking about Lord Shiva, right? Suladharane, he who is holding the Trishul, the Sulam. So picture this, a huge figure of Lord Shiva in this entire cosmos, because that's where he is. He's the controller of this entire Brahmanda, the controller of the cosmos. And he's standing there, Suladharane Paramesa, he's standing there with this huge Sulam or Trishul in his hand. Paramesa, Sivagami Nayagane Jagadisa, he who is the consort of Adishakti, Sivagami Nayagan. Jagadisa, Jagadisa means one who is the universal Lord, the God of this universe. Tukiya Padama Amara Kailesa Tandava Nadaraja. Tuki means to lift, Padama is your feet. So he is raising that one leg in the posture of Nadaraja. Those of you who see Nadaraj, he lifts one leg up and he crosses his hand and he stands in that dance pose, Nataraja, king of dance. Sivagami Nayagana Jagadisa, Tukiya Padama Amara Kailesa, Lord who is the ruler of Kailasa, Amara Kailesa, Tandava Nadaraja, dancing in the cosmic dance. Because if Lord Shiva doesn't do the cosmic dance, you and I won't even have oxygen to breathe. The planetary systems won't work. The cosmos won't work. There'll be no day and night. There'll be no light and bright. There'll be no good and bad. There'll be nothing. There's no balance or equilibrium, as we call it. So keeping all of that in its place is Lord Shiva's Tandava. So this song is giving the same praise. Tukiya Padama Amara Kailesa Tandava Nadaraja. He who is dancing in Tandava, raising that one leg and dancing in all of his glory, just to keep you and I alive. What an amazing Lord. Do we need to pray for anything else other than to pray for the gratitude and thanks to God? And that is what prayer must be about. Vibhuti Sundarane Shankara Visha Vilasana Sundara Vibhuti Sundarane Shankara Visha Vilasana Vibhuti Sundarane Shankara Visha Vilasana Sundara Shankara Vishwa Vilasana Sundara मूर्ति सुंदर हे शंकरा वीश विलासन सुंदर शिवकामिमये ज्वलने अम्बरं पेरुमाळे ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः 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 எருட்டிலம் நாம சிவாய எருட்டிலம் நாம சிவாய எருட்டிலம் நாம சிவாய எருட்டிலம் நாம சிவாய நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய நமோ நம ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः ओम नमः शिवाय नमो नमः ஐந்திருத்து பிறந்த நாள் ஐந்திருத்து வளர்ந்த நாள் ஐந்திருத்து பிறந்த நாள் ஐந்திருத்து வளர்ந்த நாள் நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய ஓம் நம சிவாய நமோ நம ஓம் நம
heartfelt thanks goes up to Brother Prem and his band for those melodious and soul-stirring bhajans, kirtans and other hymns in praise of the Lord in his various manifestations. Earlier in the foyer, I was asked by one of the family members to please introduce myself today. Although many of you know me, but there are a few that don't know me, so therefore I'll introduce myself today. My name is Thomas Kandan, and I'm a very close family member of the Moodleys. But I can go even further by saying that awesome woman that you see there on the photograph always treated me as a very own. So therefore I consider myself not only a friend, but part and parcel of this Moodley family. Earlier I promised you that I will introduce you to a few speakers. And the first speaker that I want to introduce to you is Kamala Moodley, who will represent the siblings. So without further ado, Kamala, if you can come forward.
Good afternoon, family and friends. It's hard to believe that it's nearly a year that we said goodbye to my mum. This year has been one of reflection, of learning, and of deep longing. In 2023, I made a very tough decision to return home so that I could be closer to my mum and my family. At that time, I did not know what the future held, but today I am so grateful for the decision I made. It gave me precious time with my mom, time to talk, to share, and to simply be in her presence. These moments are now my treasures. Since her passing, life has not been the same for us. There are okay days, and then there are sad days. There are days when an absence feels overwhelming, and days when I still expect to hear her voice. She was our pillar, the one we all leaned on. As our eldest, I felt her absence in a very unique way. Some of the duties and responsibilities she carried with such grace have now passed on to me. It's not easy for me to emulate her. I try to be a mother figure to my siblings. When I'm faced with challenges, I often have to stop and ask, what would Mommy have done? I often feel much mixed emotions. It gladdens my heart when my cousins, both from my dad's side and my mom's side, say that she was their favorite aunt. On the other hand, it pains me to see my family sad. This morning, I felt so broken when the priest asked my eldest niece while we were performing the ceremony at home why she is crying. My mom was caring, kind, and full of faith. She raised us single-handedly after my dad passed, teaching us to love one another and to always put God first. The joy was in us, her children, our granddaughters, and our family. Even our smallest achievement made her so happy. This past year has not only been about my mom's passing. As a family, we lost our loved ones, and even my closest friends have faced trying times. It reminds us how fragile life is, but also how important it is to stand together, just as my mom taught us. Mom, I love you. Mom, I miss you. I will carry your lessons and your love with me forever.
Thank you, Kam. Thank you, Kamala, for those fine sentiments expressed about your mother. It's not very easy to come forward and speak about someone that is so close to you. And I think, Kamala, you passed with flying colors. Everybody in the audience knows the relationship between a grandmother and a grandchild. And in the case of the Moodley family, it was no different. Mother Rajmani, our mother, loved the grandchildren to bits. And today, the grandchildren will come forward, led by Taskana, to pay their tribute to their dear grandmother. Taskana and the rest of the grandchildren, please come forward.
Greetings all. On the 10th of October 2024, at exactly 3:42 a.m., we lost the kindest and sweetest soul, Rajmani Moodley. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Ever since then, life has been different. She wasn't just my grandma, but my best friend and my support system. Gone are the days when I used to put ashes on Ma before school, or when we used to sit in the corner and talk about old lady stories. Gone are the days when she used to make a famous cram curry or gulab jam. For the first few months, I was in denial. It just felt like Ma went on holiday and she would come back. But soon after, reality hit. It was only until recently that I realized that Ma is actually no more. It feels so strange coming home after an exam and not having Ma say, "I know you did well, the clove jumps." It feels so foreign to have known Ma my whole life, and then suddenly she's gone. Another day goes by when I don't miss her cooking, her smile, and just having Ma there. Ma was the most amazing grandmother to us. She loved us immensely. The house feels empty without her there. Everything reminds us of you. I still remember when we used to play Just Dance, and you would only dance to Macarena. I guess all us grandchildren got our dance moves from you. Ma, but we know you are happy to be where you are, with all your late siblings, and to be able to watch over Grandfather, Dolima, Lilama, and Puspama. We feel your love and guidance with us. We all love and miss you, Ma.
I really miss you. Ma was not only our granny, she was her second mom and our best friend. I'll never forget the way she used to dance with us. No one is okay with me. I really wish I could hug her more. And I wish I could tell her that I love her so much. And that I'm grateful to have her in my life. Ma used to tell me to be good, do good, and see good. Ma had the most But I know that Ma is watching us, and she doesn't want us to cry because she's in a good place and she's not in pain anymore.
Ma's love, wisdom, and kindness touched countless lives. With a heart full of love and a spirit that inspired those around her, she guided us with her prayers and knowledge. Her unwavering support, gentle guidance, and contagious laughter always created a lively atmosphere. That is a joy that I will always treasure.
Ma was so kind, and when we needed help, she would be there. She used to dance with us, and I just want to say how much I miss Ma, and I wish she was here with us. Thank you.
Thank you girls very much. I'm sure Ma will be very proud of you and shining from above, smiling at you, and as you said, protecting and taking care of you as well. Sisters and brothers, we come to the final speaker for this afternoon to wrap up the speeches. We have another family member, an uncle of Preshnis, and another singing sensation, a popular man in the music industry who can sing all kinds of songs, be it film, but especially we love him when he sings songs in praise of the Lord, and he does that very well. All the way from Richards Bay, I introduce to you and call up to the podium, Chris Sniper.
Thank you, Mr. MC. I offer my pranams at the lotus feet of our Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Sai Ram, my humble monikams, Namaste and Namaskar. Bhagavan Sri Satya Baba says, Mother is not just an ordinary woman, she is God. Scriptures give mothers an exalted position in the universe. Worship her and attain her grace. Once you have the blessings of your mother, you can achieve anything in the world. Never disobey or displease her. Never cause displeasure to your mother. Never hurt her feelings. Then God will help you in all your endeavors. Even today, there is no dearth of noble mothers. They feel pain to see the children straying away from the right path. They leave no stone unturned to correct them. A woman's prayer is more powerful than 1,000 prayers of men, because women are pure and tender-hearted. Never look down upon women. Treat all elderly women as your mother and the younger ones as your sisters. The world will remain safe and secure only when men have such noble feelings. This is an abstract and a discourse taken from Swami's literature in 2001, 6th of May. In the Bible, a mother is portrayed as the foundational glue to the family, responsible for nurturing, raising and guiding her children with wisdom and love, and is highly honored and respected within the family of God. Those special memories of our Amma would always bring a smile. If only I could have her back for just a little while. Then we could sit and talk just like we used to do. You always meant so much to the family. The fact that you are no longer here, you'll always cause me pain, but you'll forever be in my heart until we meet again. I had to read these words of my phone. My name is Chris. I'm the uncle of Preshi, and a very good friend of the husband, Jason. Auntie, was the most adorable person. The reason why I'm saying that is that my son had lived there with the siblings, and they took care of him. The good thing about her was I never saw her sad. Never ever. Whether she had emotional feelings in her heart, she never portrayed it on her face. She would always smile. Jason, I know how much you love your mom. And I want you to speak about your mom. As you know, I lost my dad just recently, about 44, 45 days now. I know the pain you're going through with your mom not being here. But you have a wonderful family support. That means your aunts, your uncle, your friends, your wife, your kids, your sisters, and obviously the Richard Bay family that support you. And then you asked me, where's my family in Richards Bay earlier on, and I said, they're coming, they're here. They are here. Because this means a lot to them and to you. I just want to say to the family, we are here as actors. Our day is not now, but day will come. You know, Brother Privet started the service with a very powerful mantra. And that mantra is the most powerful in the world, as far as I'm concerned, because I know Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvake Yesu Sarvada is the most powerful mantra. When you go to bed, say it and sleep. When you get up, say it and sleep. To the MC, thank you for being a pillar of strength to Jason. And I know you're very, very close to Jason. I want to thank you and thank you for allowing me to say a few words on Ma. But she'll never ever be forgotten. Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Rama, Shri Rama Ram, Yeneso, Shri Rama Rama Yeneso. Tarakudu eppudu madilandu talaside Tarakudu kalyanatlo karmamoduniye Viswadavirama Vinoda Vema Viswadavirama Vinoda Vema Oh Hari Hari Narayana Adinarayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chanda Oh Sarvu Sankitamo Apadamulako Mulano Saraswati Mayanu Sayamni Ramani Shri Rama Jaya Rama Janaki Pati Rama Legale Yara Tandri Jamma Jayapana Hari Hari Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Hari Hari Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Hari Hari Hare Rama 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 Ayodhya Rama Hare Hare Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Oh Hare Hare Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Hare Hare Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Kadam nikala cheetuke lamu chatal kamaina mata Hari Hari Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Dasarata Sudalavai Dasakuntiki Sampiki Raja Munagadavai Ramulo Hari Hari Narayana Rama Ramo Ramo Rasa Parasasyo Vandamo Vandamo Parapunyasila Amuduluka Nakaleka Mudan Malayaram Pandavai Kavanoladi Brahmano Jande Hari Hari Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Oh Kavu Kavu Manami Kaka Suri Metapu Nina Rakshinchu Nanu Kesha Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Oh Hari Hari Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Hari Hari Narayana Adi Narayana Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Oh Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Oh Karuninche Mammelo Kamalano Chandra Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to be doing the diarad offering, and I'm going to start firstly with the immediate family. They will get a chance in their own order to come forward and offer their diarad to beloved mother. And once they are completed, ladies and gentlemen, you will get a chance to come forward. We have a request that you do please come forward one table at a time. Everybody from the table can come forward. One person from the table can turn the diarad while the rest of you can touch, join hands and join in the prayer so that we could do that in a swift and ordered manner. We're now going to call forward the members of the immediate family to proceed with the diarad while we sing a very special song dedicated to a mother, and then we'll continue with the bhajans from there. என்னம்மா என் அழகே when I need you, Muruga, you are there, Muruga, to take all my troubles away. You're my Swami Muruga, living like Muruga, Baba Vaidila. When I wish you, Muruga, you are there, Muruga, to take all my troubles away.
we've come to the end of today's devotional program. I'm now going to call forward Brother Jason one more time to do the closing Diarad. Ladies and gentlemen, can we all please rise as we close in prayer? Buddhinari ariyada mokaru uyameni buddhinari ariyada aravinaigal arapanam siddhamela arimaitu sivavadi neniyada adanakku aruliyada அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருள் பெரும் ஜோதி கல்லாப்பிலே கருணாப்பிலே கசிந்துருகி நின்னாப்பிலே நினையாப்பிலே நினைஞ்சிருதே சொன்னாப்பிலே துதியாப்பிலே தோனாப்பிலே எல்லாப்பிலும் பொருத்தருவாய் கச்சேகம் வனே ஓம் சாந்தி சாந்தி சாந்தி. You can unmute, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to call forward Brother Jason Moodley to move the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I go into the word of thanks, being the only son, I think it's only fair and expected of my mum for me to say a few words. Mum, it's been a period of the past year that you've been gone, and certainly our house has got a massive void. From the time that I enter the house, before I even get to the door, Mom, open the door. There's no longer. Nowadays I have to carry the keys and open the door myself. Even the space on the couch is now a massive void. And secondly, Mum, you're dearly missed both of all of us at home. You know, my mum was not just a mother to us. You know, in the Tamil say, Mother, Pida, Guru Devam, Mother, Father, Teacher, God. And certainly, and collectively, that's the role my mum played in our upbringing. And that's why we are so proud of her. I know it's been a journey from the 10th of October up until today, the final destination of reaching moksha. And certainly we know that's a new home. Mum, we miss you. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was asked to do the vote of thanks, I think it's only fair we start off with God Almighty, who's been guiding us through this entire period. And certainly, you know, that was the learning from our mum in believing in God and following our religion to the best of our ability. To the officiating priest, Guru Tama Valaidam, from the funeral to the ceremony to the yearly, you stood for us, and thank you for going through the prayer with us. To the Woodview, Ramayan Mandal, thank you for leasing this great premises to us. Mr. MC, thank you. And our service group, Rajmani Moodley and troop, you guys did an amazing job today. To Brian Chetty of CC Function and Deco, an amazing job once again. You guys are brilliant. To Libra Creators, the meals that you guys will be partaking shortly in. And I think most importantly, it's been a journey over this period. Family, friends, colleagues, many people, you guys stood by us throughout this journey. I want to say a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you guys. To all you guys that are present here today, thank you for taking time out and joining us for this auspicious day and spending it with us. And not forgetting, there are many people, I think from around the country, around the world, that has joined us on the live stream. To you guys, thank you. Guys, I know it's been a long afternoon, but we please, on behalf of our family, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you for your presence here this afternoon, and also once again for your support throughout this journey with us. You know, as I think my sister mentioned, or somebody mentioned during the period, we had somebody that was stood by us and guiding us through the prayer. Unfortunately, her journey came to an end. To my mum-in-law, Ruby, I know certainly you've been a great help to us, and now you're going to be joining my mum very shortly in Moksha, right, as your journey gets there. Thank you. Guys, travel home safely, right, and wish each and every you guys a safe trip home. Thank you.
Brother Jason. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, Rajmani Moodley, I'd like to thank you firstly, the host, for choosing the Prevail Moodley Music Group. We'd also like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of this evening's program and glorifying the Supreme Being in all of His manifestations. Ladies and gentlemen, just an announcement. The Prevail Moodley Music Group is available 7 days a week, offering our services to ceremonies, memorials, funerals, and even home prayers, specializing in bhajans and kirtans across Tamil, Telugu, and even the Hindi language. You're welcome to see us now to retrieve our contact details. Your supper is now being served. The caterers are making their way to your tables, serving your supper. The family is also requested that you remain with them to partake of the same, as well as partake in some teas, coffees, and refreshments that will be served to you after your meals. And when you're done, have yourself a safe journey back home. I pray that your homes are filled with happiness, joy, love, sweetness, and with smiles. Most importantly, I pray that the good Lord above us all will bless each and every one of you with good health. I'd also like to thank my accompanying musicians. Thank you very much. I think you've done a splendid job. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll excuse us, my team and I will be making a very swift and discreet exit, as we do have another ceremony starting in the next hour, so we will need to leave. So thank you so much from myself, Prevail Moodley, Mika Nandri, Vanakanga.